September 3rd of 2021. Alex Murdaugh's law firm calls a meeting to discuss $1 million missing from the firm's coffers. They meet with Alex, who agrees to resign and shocks the firm when he blames the theft on a 20-year-old addiction to pain pills. Then, the very next day, the police are dispatched to the side of a highway after Alex Murdaugh is shot in the head. Welcome to Exposed, Scandalous Files of the Elite, Murdaugh, Episode 9, The Highway Shooting. Hey everyone, and welcome back to Exposed, Scandalous Files of the Elite. I am your host, Jim Chapman, and we are continuing the Murdaugh series with this 9th episode. But before we get into it, just quickly, I want to thank everyone for listening, sharing, and especially rating the podcast. That is the most important part. If you're enjoying the content, please give us a rating. Wherever you listen, there should be some option to rate the podcast. I can't tell you how much it helps. So thank you so much for doing so. And to our Patreon celebrity members, thank you so much for all you do to support Exposed Scandalous Files of the Elite. We have a lot of big stuff coming up, so stay tuned for all of that. Now, the last time we left you in the Murdaugh series, Alex Murdaugh had conducted his second official interrogation with SLED, and we learned a lot. Most notably, we learned that he was indeed the primary suspect in the murders of his wife and son. So after leaving that interrogation, as you can imagine, major panic set in for Alex Murdaugh, and police continue investigating. They're digging deep, right? The noose is starting to tighten on Alex Murdaugh. And then just 2 months after that second interrogation on September 4th of 2021, this happens.
Hampton County 911, where's your emergency?
On Salkehatchie Road.
Okay, what's the address on Salkehatchie Road?
I'm by the church.
What church? What church are you talking about?
I don't know the name of it with the red roof.
Okay, what end of Salkehatchie Road? Because I don't know what you're talking about.
At the Hampton County side.
Okay, what's going on?
I got a flat tire, and I stopped, and somebody stopped to help me, and when I turned my back, they tried to shoot me.
Oh, okay. Were you shot?
Yes, but I mean, I'm okay.
You shot where? Where were you shot at?
Huh?
Did they actually shoot you, or they tried to shoot you?
They shot me, but...
Okay, wait, you need EMS?
Well, I mean, yes, I can't drive.
Okay.
I'm trouble seeing, and I'm bleeding a lot.
Where part of your body?
I'm not sure. Somewhere on my head.
Your head?
Somewhere on my head. Somebody just stopped for me, ma'am. For 911.
Okay. Still?
Hey.
Okay, let me speak to him, see if he can tell me exactly where you are.
Where? Salkehatchie, brother. Oh, right here by this church. This red church. That church? I can run up there. Okay. Red roof. Yeah, hurry, please.
Okay, about 2 miles from the pedestrian barrel.
Okay, and what's your name? I'm still here. I'm going to stay on the line with you. What's your name?
Alex Murdaugh.
Alex Murdaugh?
Yes, ma'am.
And you see you were driving, you got a flat tire, somebody stopped to help you and they shot you?
Well, they pulled over, yes, ma'am, like they were going to help me.
Okay, stay on the line with me. We're going to get some.
I'm bleeding pretty bad.
Okay. Stay on.
John's Missionary Church.
St. John's Missionary Church?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
The SUV is right where he's at.
And can you give me a description of the person that shot you or shot at you?
Yes, ma'am. I mean, it was
Okay. Well, let me get
a white fella.
What's the contact number for you?
I'd say
A white male.
Uh-huh.
a fair amount younger than me. Really, really short hair.
I'll have my dog. You said it out that way, okay? All right.
You have an ambulance coming, ma'am?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Stay on the line. I got them on the way.
You think one of y'all can drive me to the hospital?
Yes, sir. You want to get the trunk, though, because I got a baby and these two in the back.
One of y'all could get in this car and drive me?
Yes, sir. I can.
They're going to drive me to the hospital. Ma'am?
Is it cranked?
Yeah, it should be cranked, and that puts it in drive.
911, where's your emergency?
Yes, ma'am, I lost you. This young lady is driving me to the hospital.
She's carrying you to the hospital?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, and who is this?
This is Alex Murdaugh. I was on the phone a minute ago.
Okay, all right.
Okay.
He said that somebody's taking him to the hospital. Okay.
Oh, you know what? We got a flat tire.
Got you, 1012.
Ma'am, I need the ambulance.
You need the ambulance? Okay, are you still in the same location?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Which way are y'all heading? Are y'all driving down the road?
No, ma'am. I got a flat tire.
Okay. All right. Sit tight right there, okay?
Ma'am?
Okay. Yes, sir. We're still here. Hold on. We're dispatching now, giving them information. Where are you at?
I don't want to get this all over your car.
Temple, Old Saltahatchee near the St. John.
All right, now they're taking me to the hospital.
Okay, so which way are y'all traveling?
We're coming down Saltahatchee Road to the Hampton Hospital.
Y'all coming down Saltahatchee?
Ma'am?
Y'all coming down Saltahatchee Road to the hospital?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. They said.
Is it bad back there?
They said that they're coming down Saltahatchee Road heading towards the hospital, but all right, we're gonna keep EMS en route to you, okay?
Okay.
Are you coming off of Walterboro Highway?
We'll be at Walterboro Highway in 10 minutes or so.
They said in about 10 minutes or so they'll be at Walterboro Highway. What kind of vehicle are you in?
White Nissan Rogue.
It's a white Nissan Rogue. Temple, be advised they're on Walterboro Highway in a white Nissan Rogue. Is the flashers on? Do you have the... No, Temple, this time they're supposed 1017 to the hospital.
Ma'am?
Y'all still on the... Okay. Y'all still 17. Do you have your flashers on the vehicle? Is the flashers on? Is the flashers on?
Yeah.
Yes. Hotel 12.
Your location for the individual is being escorted to the hospital.
10-4, they're on Walterboro Highway.
Pull over. All right, we see the ambulance, so we can pull over. Okay. Tell them we're in the white car.
They're in a white Nissan Rogue on Walterboro Highway, They are pulling over. They see the EMS. Okay, y'all stopped?
I see them.
You're at Waldeboro Highway? And where?
They're here. They're here.
Okay. Okay.
I'm going to hang up now.
Okay, then you...
So let's break this one down. Alex Murdaugh calls 911 and he claims he gets a flat. He pulls over on the roadway and someone pulls over. And he assumes that person is pulling over to help him. And as soon as they get out of the car, they shoot him in the head. They drive away. He calls 911. And while he's on the phone, some people pull up. They notice him in distress, right? And they even offer to drive him to the hospital. Now, some odd things that I picked up on in that 911 call prior to that while listening to it. He apparently gets in that car with those good Samaritans, we'll call them, but he's concerned about getting blood from the hole in his head on the car. Now, that just struck me as strange. I don't know. I mean, it's very nice of him, I guess, but if one is shot in the head, it just seems weird to me to be concerned about that. Now, eventually they drive off. He's still on the phone with 911. They see the ambulance. They pull over so that Murdaugh can get into the ambulance. And let me deviate for just a second from this. Could you imagine being those people in hindsight of everything that has happened with the Murdaugh case since then? I mean, talk about getting pulled into a story. These people, I bet to this day, have one heck of a story to tell. Yep, we gave a lift to Alex Murdaugh when he was shot in the head. Holy smokes. Could you imagine being those people now? I don't know. I just thought about that after I heard that 911 call. So I'll get back to it. And as you know, news travels really fast, especially anything to do with Murdaugh. So almost immediately following him going to the hospital, an article comes out reporting that Alex Murdaugh was shot. And it reads like this: nearly 3 months after his wife and son were savagely murdered in a still unsolved double homicide, Low Country, South Carolina attorney Alex Murdaugh, who remains a person of interest in that ongoing investigation, was wounded in a shooting in Hampton County. Murdaugh was reportedly airlifted to the Parker's Emergency and Trauma Center in Savannah, Georgia on Saturday afternoon with at least one gunshot wound in the aftermath of the incident. Agents of the South Carolina State Law Enforcement Division, known as SLED, were called to the crime scene at the request of the Hampton County Sheriff's Office. SLED has been requested to investigate a shooting that occurred in Hampton County. That from Tommy Crosby, an agency spokesman. Crosby declined to identify Murdaugh as the victim of the shooting initially. However, multiple law enforcement sources confirmed the 53-year-old lawyer was the individual who was wounded. Shortly before 6 p.m. on Saturday, SLED confirmed the Hampton County case it was investigating involves Alex Murdaugh. The person involved is Alex Murdaugh. Our agents are actively investigating the incident. The shooting reportedly took place near Varnville, South Carolina, on a highway road, a location which was confirmed by defense attorney Jim Griffin, one of Murdaugh's lawyers. Griffin told reporters that his client stopped on the side of the road after experiencing car trouble while traveling to Charleston, South Carolina from his home. Alex was changing a tire when a car passed him. The vehicle turned around and someone in the car shot him. Griffin further told reporters the shots were fired from the truck that had passed Murdaugh on the road and circled back as he was working on his vehicle. As of this writing, there is no information available as to any suspects being sought or apprehended in connection with the shooting. Again, as such information becomes available, it will be passed on. That didn't take long. And, you know, when I read that article, it almost seems like even the media was already having doubts as to the legitimacy of this. But one thing that was for sure, Alex Murdaugh 100% had a gunshot wound to his head. There was no debate there. Now, as if police were not busy enough with all the other Murdaugh-related things going on, they are now investigating his attempted murder. In the meantime, just 3 days after the shooting, on September 7th of 2021, it comes out that Alex Murdaugh is accused of stealing $1 million from his law firm. I say comes out because the law firm actually met with Murdaugh regarding this $1 million on September 3rd, which was just 1 day prior to the highway shooting incident. So the partners in the firm, they confronted Alex, and after being confronted about this $1 million, Murdaugh agreed to resign from that law firm. In a statement, one of his attorneys, Jim Griffin, said that Alex resigned from the law firm after being accused of diverting lawyers' fees. These allegations prompted him to confront his dependency, and he voluntarily checked into an inpatient substance abuse rehab facility after being charged from the hospital on Monday. So, as you would think would happen, on September 8th, the next day, Alex's law license was temporarily suspended by the South Carolina Supreme Court. And also on September 8th, Randy Murdaugh, his brother, releases a statement to denounce the criminal actions against his brother. He said he was shocked, just as the rest of his law family, to learn my brother Alex's drug addiction and stealing of money. I love my law firm, my family, and I also love Alex as my brother. While I will support him in his recovery, I do not support, condone, or excuse his conduct in stealing by manipulating his most trusted relationships. So 4 days pass. Alex is about to check out of the hospital, and after that, he's going to go to a rehab facility. This is on the 13th of September of 2021. And investigators from SLED that were investigating the Roadside shooting, they arranged for an interview with Alex in the hospital the day he's checking out, and his counsel via phone call. So it was in this interview in particular that Alex finally broke on many things. This interview was played during Alex's trial. That was the first time anybody heard it. So you're going to hear a break or two during which the prosecution is going to clarify some things for the jurors. But it's extremely important that you hear this. So here it is. It's that full interview with Alex Murdaugh on September 13th, 2021.
Jim.
Hey, Jim, this is Ryan Kelly and Joe Mar Albayalde with SLED. How are you?
Hey, Ryan and Joe.
Yes.
We're in an office over here in Atlanta with Alec and Dick, and I'm just going to put the phone here on the table next to Alec and turn it over to you guys.
Well, let me start, Ryan. First of all, we only have about 30 to 40 minutes before we have to get out of here. Okay.
Okay. No problem, sir. Sorry about that. You caught me. I was halfway to Somerville, so I had to turn around and get into a place. And
I'm sorry, but we were late getting here to see Alec, and once we got in here, we had to have a long discussion.
Okay.
It's official. I'd like to walk him through some questions, which will then allow you to question him, but give you some sort of, rather than him just sort of wandering around.
Okay.
Okay.
Well, before we get started, can we just have, for the purpose of our notes, obviously we prefer not to do telephone interviews. This is how y'all requested, so obviously, we don't really have a choice. But we just I'm going to need Alex to identify himself, on the call. And basically what we do is I'm going to ask him his date of birth and the last four of his social.
Okay, go ahead.
Alex, just go.
Hello.
Alex, you give me your full name.
Okay, Richard Alexander Murdaugh.
Okay, and what's your date of birth?
My date of birth is May 27th, 1968.
Last four of your social.
7483.
Okay. And I understand that, obviously this is a unique situation conducting this interview over the phone. we need to, obviously you've been receiving some treatment. So just for the overall, sake of your competency to be giving us information, are you right now, sound body and sound mind?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Are you talking to us willingly?
Yes, sir.
Okay. All right, Dick. Go ahead, sir.
Okay, so let me say for the record, his attorneys Jim Griffin and Dick Arbugian are here. We've spent the last hour talking to him. We believe that he is a sound mind and body, and that he understands, and that he is in no way diminished capacity.
Okay.
So he is perfectly competent to answer these questions. Now, we're willing to, and we've advised him, we're going to talk about the shooting incident a week ago Saturday, where he was shot in the head, how that happened, who and why it was done.
Okay.
We don't want to talk about what happened in Moselle, and we don't want to talk about anything involving finances at the law firm. Is that okay?
Yes.
Okay. So, Alex, let's talk about last Saturday morning, and let me go through this briefly. Who did you meet with and talk to last Saturday morning?
I met with Jim Griffin and Chief Chessie.
Mm-hmm. And then what?
I drove to Canton, and I met with Chris Wilson at my mom's house.
Okay. And you and Chris were talking about what?
About everything I had done.
Okay, everything you had done concerning finances.
Finances, pills, lies.
Okay. Now, were you taking, well, first of all, let me back up for just a second. Have you had a long-standing Oxycontin or opioid addiction issue?
Yes, sir.
How many years?
The best I can remember, around 20 years, 18 to 20 years.
Okay. Now, on this particular day, on this Saturday, were you taking the Oxycontin or taking any opioids?
I had taken some, but, I was taking, I'd given it all that I had someone else, and I'd taken some at like 4 a.m., so I was having some withdrawals.
Okay. And the previous day, the news had come out about your embezzling or taking client money or law firm money. Is that correct?
That's correct.
And how would you describe your state of mind at that time?
I was in a very bad place.
What does that mean?
I thought it would be better for me not to be here anymore.
What do you mean by not be here anymore?
I thought that it would make it easier on my family for me to be dead.
And easier, was some financial gain to your family if you were dead?
I had a fair amount of life insurance debt.
Do you remember how much?
Not off the top of my head, but like $10 million, $12 million.
Okay. And so you decided to end your life?
That's correct.
And tell these SLED agents how you went about arranging that.
I called Curtis Eddie Smith on the telephone.
Okay, now let's stop for a second. Who is Curtis Eddie Smith?
Curtis Eddie Smith is the primary person who I purchased pills from for years.
And some weeks you would give him how much money for pills?
I mean, it would be in my records, but we had weeks where there would be $40,000, $50,000, $60,000.
That you would give him for pills?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so you've known him for how long?
Years.
Years. So, did you call him that morning?
Yes, sir, I did.
That day? About what time?
I'm not sure.
Okay.
But I asked him to...
Was it after you met with Jim Griffin?
It was after I met with Jim Griffin.
After you met with Chris Wilson?
I believe so.
Okay, and when you called him, what did you ask him?
I asked him to meet me.
Did he meet you?
He did.
Where did he meet you?
He met me out not too far from my mom's house.
Where?
He was on the side of the road. I think at the funeral home.
At the funeral home. Okay, and did y'all talk?
Not there. He followed me into town.
To where?
To over where I stopped by the Sunoco gas station.
Okay, did y'all have a discussion there?
Yes, sir.
Did y'all get out of your cars or was this in your vehicle?
I don't think we got out of our cars.
And what vehicle were you in?
I was in my wife's Mercedes.
And what was he in?
He was in a gray pickup truck.
Okay. And what did y'all discuss?
I told him that things were getting ready to get really bad, and that I would be better off not here. And I asked him to shoot me.
And you asked him to shoot you?
That's correct.
And what was his response?
I mean, I think at first he was a little surprised, but then he said, okay.
Did you tell him where you wanted him to shoot you?
Yes, sir.
Where did you tell him you wanted him to shoot you?
In the head.
And did you tell him how you were going to arrange that? What was going to be the logistics of that?
Yes, sir.
Go ahead.
I told him to follow me out, and that I would make a flat tire, and he would go past me and turn around and come back and do it.
And did he follow you out?
He did.
Now, where did you get the gun?
I gave it to him.
Where did you give it to him?
We stopped somewhere on Salcahatchee Road, I believe.
Did y'all have a discussion there, or did you just give him the gun?
We didn't have much discussion.
When you say much, was there any discussion?
I'm not sure. I was worried about cars coming, and so it was a very fast thing.
You gave him, what kind of weapon did you give him?
A revolver pistol.
What caliber?
38.
Okay, and that was your gun?
Yes, sir.
Okay, and so he followed you out to where?
Salcahatchee Road.
Okay, and you pull off the road?
Yes, sir.
And he pulled off the road, what did you do?
I stopped, made my tire flat.
How did you make your tire flat?
With a knife.
Whose knife?
Mine.
What did you do with the knife after you made your tire flat?
Threw it.
Which tire?
Back driver's side.
Back driver's side. You threw it where?
Across the road.
Across the road?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Was there woods over there, a ditch, or do you know?
Just some grass, like thick grass.
Okay. And after you did that, he passed you, or did he pass you as you were doing that?
I think that he had already passed me and was in front of me and went down the road, turned around and come back.
Now, when he was coming back, you had given him a pistol. What was your intent?
For him to kill me.
Okay. And when he came back, did he stop? Did he pull up? Do you know?
He did.
And when he pulled up, did you look in his face?
I don't think so.
So what happened next?
I stood close to his car.
And?
He shot me.
Where did he shoot you?
He missed and hit me in the very back of the head.
Okay. And as a result of being hit in the back of the head, did that have any physical effect on you?
It did.
What happened?
I lost my vision for a little bit, and I'm not sure if it knocked me to the ground or not, but I was disoriented, and it took me like a minute and a half, 2 minutes for my sight to come back.
And did you remember him driving off? Did you hear him drive off?
I'm not sure.
Okay, now after you came to your senses, did your vision come back?
It came back.
Okay, and what's the first time you remember somebody else being there?
I remember there were 2 cars that came, and one of them did a stop, and one of them did stop.
And the one that stopped, what did they do?
They tried to help me.
In what way?
In getting me to in every way that first we got in. They were crowded in their car. There was some reason why their car was crowded, and I'm not sure what that was. But so the young lady got in my car and was going to drive me to the hospital, and I just wasn't thinking about the flat tire. And so we had to get out of that, and then they worked it out somehow for me to be able to get in their car in the front passenger seat.
Okay, so and you got in the front passenger seat. Where did they take you?
To meet the ambulance.
Now, were you on? Did you call 911?
Yes, sir.
And you tell them somebody shot
you? Yes, sir.
Some guy shot you, right?
At my request.
So your intent was to have him kill you so you could collect your life insurance, right?
So my son could. I mean, I knew I was about to lose everything, and I figured he's better off that way than dealing with me.
Now, this gentleman that shot you, give me his name again.
Curtis Eddie Smith.
What kind of vehicle was he driving?
Gray truck.
Okay, and it's probably not relevant, but I'm intrigued by the fact, how long was it, have you ever discussed with him before killing you? Oh, you commit suicide?
No, sir.
How long did it transpire between the time you asked him to shoot you in the head on the side of the road and he actually shot you in the head on the side of the road?
When I first asked him, we were at the Sunoco station in Barnville.
And how long after that did he actually shoot you in the head?
However long it takes to drive from there to Talkatchee Road.
More than a half an hour?
I don't think so.
Did he ever ask you to reconsider or say, things aren't that bad? Did he ever, try to convince you to do otherwise?
No, sir.
You find that strange?
I didn't, I was focused on...
Focused on what?
Being gone.
Okay. So that's all the questions I have, but I tried to lay it out as expeditiously as possible. That he'll be happy to answer any other questions, any additional questions. Again, I'm a great interviewer, so y'all have at it. We've got about another 20 minutes.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Hey, let me ask you this: y'all recording this, aren't you?
Yes, sir, we are.
Okay, good. Just want to make sure.
Yeah. So, Alex, how long have you known Curtis Smith?
And Ryan, Officer Kelly, before we start, I just want to tell you, I apologize to you for lying at you in the hospital. I was in a very bad place.
No, sir, we understand. And I do appreciate you, helping us figure this out now. So that's in the past, so let's just focus on what we're doing now. How long have you known Curtis?
I've known him for years. I represented him. He knew my dad somehow for playing softball, and he came to my dad with a lawsuit, and I handled that case. So I would guess 10, 12
Okay.
years ago.
How often would y'all talk on the phone?
Very frequently.
Okay. And what would y'all talk about?
Getting pills.
Okay. And you would pay him money to get you pills, correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay. How often would you pay him?
Frequently.
Okay. Well, I mean, once a week, twice a week?
It would vary sometimes, but it was several times a week.
How would you pay him?
In cash and mostly in checks, but in some cash too.
Okay. And what accounts would those checks come from?
The vast majority of them would come from the Bank of America account, but there would also be some funds that would come from the Palmetto State account.
And whose accounts are those?
Mine.
What names are they in?
The Bank of America accounts are in my name, and then there's another account there that I created that's a DBA, that's my name, DBA Forge, and then my checking account at Palmetto State Bank.
Okay, so there's two accounts at Bank of America?
Yes, sir.
The DBA and then your checking?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And what is the DBA?
Forge. F-O-R-G-E.
Thank you. Okay, and then the Palmetto is your, was the other checking account?
Yes, sir.
Okay, and who was he, so you were paying him the money. Do you know who he was getting the drugs from?
No, sir.
No. What did he tell you where he's getting it?
Oh, well, I was told that he got them from a black guy in Walterboro, and I was told that he had some connection in Beaufort, but I never...
They give you a name?
No, sir. I never saw those guys. I never dealt with those guys. So I don't know. That's what he told me.
Would you ever give anybody else money for drugs?
Yes, sir.
Who else did you give money?
I had given Kenny Hughes money.
Who's Kenny Hughes?
He's a guy that I called up and asked him if he knew anybody that he could buy pills from.
Mm-hmm.
And I told him I had a client that had issues and couldn't get them medically, and that, you know, and I would pay him as well, but I called him up and asked him to do it.
All right, how much money do you think you gave him?
I have no idea.
Okay, did you write him a check or pay him cash?
Both.
Okay. Did you pay anybody else?
No, sir.
So it was just Curtis Smith and Kenny Hughes?
Yes, sir.
Sure about that? Think about it.
In the past, I have paid other people.
Okay, who are those other people?
I had a lady that worked at our house that, at our mom's house that.
And who's that?
Barbara Mixon. But that was on a very, very few occasions.
And did you pay her a cash and check, or how'd you pay her?
I'm not sure.
Okay.
I mean, that was on very limited occasions.
Okay. Is there anybody else?
Not that I can think of right now.
Okay. So the .38 revolver, it was your revolver?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Where did you get that from?
It was at my mom's house
When did you pick it up?
when I went up there that day.
Do you know where it is now?
No, sir.
So you gave the gun to Curtis, and you don't know what he did with it?
That's correct.
Has anybody in your family had any communications with Curtis recently?
I don't know why.
Well, because when we interviewed him, he said he had to talk to his attorney first, and he listed you. And then when we said that wasn't possible, he listed Randy. So we're just trying to figure out.
Randy's not going to represent him.
And let me say this, maybe.
Hold on, I got one more question. Does Randy have any knowledge of this?
Does Randy have any knowledge of what?
Of this attempted suicide / agreement with Curtis?
I have told I told both my brothers and my son
When?
very recently.
Yesterday, right?
When was it? Yesterday.
Yesterday. After we told him we're coming here so that he could tell you, he wanted them to hear from him first.
Okay, so Randy didn't have any knowledge last week,
Yeah.
previously?
No.
Absolutely not. I lied to him too.
Alex told me yesterday about 4:15, and then I sort of tipped John Marvin off, and then later on I learned that, and I talked to Alex, and he had called Buster, John Marvin, and Randy after I spoke with him at 4 o'clock yesterday afternoon.
Okay.
We didn't do that. We're trying to.
And before that, I told them the same lies that I told you.
Now, here's an important thing. Since the shooting, have you talked to the shooter?
Yeah,
Okay, tell them about those calls.
I'm not sure. I was in the very beginnings of my detox, and I can just see where I tried to call on the phone. I know I talked to him, but I don't have it.
Did you call him or did he call you?
I called him.
Okay, but you don't remember what he said.
I don't.
Do you remember what you told him?
No, sir.
And this is when you were in the hospital in Savannah?
No, this is when I was in detox here.
Okay, so you've called them since you went, because you went to detox.
Let me ask you this, Agent Kelly, has the investigation revealed, as you testified before, that the defendant, Alex Murdaugh, did call Eddie Smith, trying to use staff phones as well while he was at the hospital additionally in Savannah?
Yes, Mr. Murdaugh was able to contact Mr. Smith while staying at the hospital in Savannah. When? Monday night?
That's right.
Did you call him on a nurse's phone from the hospital? I heard that from.
But you know what? Randy did say I did that.
But you don't have a memory of that.
Randy said that I called him, and then he was asking me. He did say I did that.
Oh. But you don't remember calling Curtis?
I don't, but I will tell you from past experience that when withdrawals begin, you do just about anything to make them quit. And I probably was calling him for that purpose.
To get pills?
Probably.
All right, so you don't know where the gun is at?
No, sir.
But you last saw it in Curtis Smith's possession?
I gave it to him, yes, sir.
All right, so the accounts that you were writing the checks to Curtis were Bank of America and Palmetto State Bank?
Yes, sir.
All right, and the funds, where were those funds coming from?
Well, that's maybe an area we don't want to talk about, but just let's say the bulk of them were not legitimately obtained.
Okay, and I'm not trying to be coy. It's just that, Mr. Murdaugh is independently wealthy, so
Not anymore.
Well,
Not
I understand that, but I think it's a pertinent question. So
look, he was independently wealthy, but there's a significant amount of money missing from clients in the law firm.
Okay. So the money came from ill-gotten gains? Is that what?
Some of it. Most, I would say the majority of it, but some of it I'm sure I use my own personal funds too.
Okay.
I mean, I was buying so many.
All right, so just let me get this straight. So you entered into did you pay Curtis any money for this?
No, sir.
You didn't pay him anything, so you just asked of a favor and he did it.
Yes, sir.
Kill me. That's a great favor.
And so, and these checks that you were paying to Curtis, I mean, they were pretty significant, right?
Yes, sir.
But and when was the last time? I know. I mean, I'm not trying to get you to when was the last time you made a payment to Curtis? Was it before the shooting?
It would have been I mean, not like right before the shooting, but
Yeah.
it would have been several days.
Okay. Did you remember how much you paid him?
No, sir. I think
Was it death or tax?
the last few times I paid him were all in check, and I was trying to, see him as little as possible.
All right. Now let me ask you this: do you owe money to any drug dealers?
No, sir.
So there's not a threat out there that we need to worry about for Buster.
No, sir. No, sir.
Okay, so the money that you were paying to Curtis to get money from his dealer or his supplier, you were paid in full in those payments. So there's no outstanding debt that we need to worry about.
No, sir.
Hey, Ryan, that's assuming that Curtis passed all the money along.
Well, no, I understand. I understand, and we'll work. So to the best of your knowledge, you don't owe anybody.
No, sir.
Okay. So the money that you paid him, you don't remember how much you paid him, but it was for pills, and you're saying that you didn't pay him at all for him to shoot you.
That's correct.
Now, I'm going to be honest, that doesn't make any sense to me.
I understand.
And I know that, like, you know, whether you did or you didn't, it really doesn't have that much of a difference. So I'm not gonna, you know, but I appreciate you're being forthcoming and you're making every attempt to be honest at this point. But so, you know, I just want to make sure that we're all on the same page. So you did not make any financial payment to Curtis to have him shoot you.
No, I did not.
Okay, but you entered into a verbal agreement with him to set up a scheme where he would shoot you. It would be a suicide set up as a robbery homicide, and you doing so was in order for your son to get your life insurance policy.
I don't know about a robbery, but everything else is true.
Hold on. So let me say this to you. He's had this policy for 10 years. Suicide.
No, I've had a policy.
No, I understand that policies. I mean, what is the policy with? Where's it at?
I don't know where that actual policy is.
Okay. Did you intend to have that paperwork in the Mercedes, like the will and all that information? Was that left in there intentionally?
Well, I've been down to meet with some lawyers about some things, and it was in there from that
Who do you think?
day before. I can't call her name now. My Buster's girlfriend's employers, Kathy Olivetti.
Yeah. And you're meeting with them about why did you have wills and stuff?
Just getting things cleaned up. I've been down and met with him one time before,
and Ryan, there's a 2-year statutory ban on any suicide exclusion. In other words, if you have the policy more than 2 years, you can commit suicide and still collect.
Yep. Okay.
So that's not now what he thought really doesn't matter, but he may have thought
Yeah.
that there would have been a problem.
Okay. But you still entered into an agreement, basically, to have him kill you, so your son would then reap the insurance benefits. And
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. You in? Al, is that true?
yes, sir.
Okay.
All right. So how did you get the knife? Was it your knife?
You know, I think that Eddie gave it to me. Curtis Eddie Smith gave it to me.
Okay. And then how did you make the tire flat?
I just stuck it.
So you punctured the tire with the knife?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so Eddie gave you the knife. You took the knife and punctured the tire.
That's correct.
And then what did you do with the knife?
Threw it.
Threw it where?
I believe across the road, but I'm not absolutely positive.
Okay, but you disposed of it in the area of where the Mercedes was parked?
I think I threw it across the road from where it was parked.
Okay. Do you know if they disposed of the gun out there?
I do not know.
Okay. Was that gun registered to anybody?
Probably.
Probably to who?
Should have been. I believe that I purchased it, so I believe it would be registered to me.
Do you remember when you purchased it?
No, sir.
Where would you have purchased it? Yeah.
I got no idea.
Okay. his phone number?
Sir?
You'd have Curtis Eddy's phone number.
If y'all have them, we'd love to get them.
Yeah. It will be my key.
Yeah, I got a cell number, 843-908-1534. And a home number at 843-538-4691.
All right. Alex, did you ever have any dealings with anybody else besides Eddie? Any of his friends, family, girlfriend?
I mean, I knew who his girlfriend was, but I never had any dealings with her about him.
Who's his girlfriend?
A lady named Donna Eason. I don't know her very well, but I've just helped her with a couple of little legal issues over the years.
Okay.
But she never was involved in the exchange of pills or money.
Okay. Is there a property up in Hugie?
A property where?
In Hugie, up 41. Do you guys own any property up there?
Oh, yes, sir. And out of Charleston?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Tell me about that.
There's a piece of property that I owned with a bunch of other people that nobody else would pay, and so I've been paying for it, and he did some work up there digging some ditches.
When did he do that?
He started within the last couple of months.
And that property, where's it at in Hugie?
It's off of United Road, United Drive.
Okay.
I think it's called Redbeard and 0 United Drive.
Hey, Ron, we're going to have to jump here in just a minute.
Okay.
Shut it down here in just a minute.
All right. Alex, is there anything else that we're missing, that we're not asking you?
Like, in regards to what? Not that I can think of, but, like, what are you thinking?
I'll just kind of leave that open-ended. Like I said, I'm not trying to I'm not involved in the other aspects of whatever other investigations. We're keeping those separate. So you communicated with Curtis. You would communicate with him over cell phone?
Yeah.
Okay. How many phones do you have, Alex?
At the time.
I had one phone. 1227 was my primary phone. And then,
I have to download that phone, Ryan. When SLED started focusing on Alex, said he's a target, we started doing our own work. So I took possession of that and sent it to a guy to download, and he had to get a separate phone, and that was that other number. And then y'all seized both of those, that's my understanding.
All right, and then he's got a third phone that he got prior to going to the treatment center.
Yeah, from Walmart, burner phone.
Okay. What is his extended? What's your expected length of treatment there in Alpharetta?
Well, it's unclear right now, but he'll go from here into rehab at some point. We'll keep you posted.
Okay. So anytime obviously this is. So you've identified Curtis Smith as the individual who shot you. And y'all entered into an agreement, so y'all kind of were hand in hand in this.
Very much so.
And he never tried to talk you out of it?
I don't know. No, sir. I don't think he did.
Okay. Did anybody know about this plan besides you and Curtis?
No.
Okay. All right.
And if you're all about done, let me put this on the record. Alex, did you tell us the truth? I just want to make sure Ryan understands him and leading him on a very,
No, I did not tell anybody the truth until, was it yesterday? Yep. Until yesterday afternoon.
Okay.
I've been really, really sick, and it's really the first day where I had any coherent thought process. And I sincerely apologize again for lying to y'all about everything that I did.
Yes, sir. And you have no idea where the gun is?
I do not.
Alex, you're right-handed, right?
I'm right-handed.
Okay, and you did not shoot yourself, correct?
I did not shoot myself.
Did you? Were there? And what was the plan for Curtis to follow you out there, and you would immobilize your vehicle? So did he stop to make it fly for you to give you the knife first? I mean, how did that play? Because you got the knife from Curtis. When did you get the knife from him?
I think I got it from him when I gave him the gun.
Okay, when you were at the Sunoco?
No, we didn't do it then. That's when.
Okay, when you pulled off the side of the road in Salcahatchee?
Shortly after we made the turn onto Salcahatchee, we stopped and did a quick exchange.
Okay, so you stopped, pulled over the side of the road, stuck the tire. Where was Curtis at when you were disabling the tire?
I believe he was going past me.
Okay, so he turned around, and where were you at when he turned around?
I'm not sure. I mean, I would have been on the side of the road, I think.
Okay, so did you pull up, kind of like what you said, just past your car?
Basically, the way I told you it happened is kind of how it happened, except it was arranged by me.
Okay. So as you turned around and turned your back to him, about how far do you think you were from the car?
I don't know, 4 or 5 feet.
Okay, 4 or 5 feet. And did you just stand there and wait for him to shoot you?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And I'm assuming he just fired once?
Yes, sir.
And then you fell to the ground or stumbled off.
I'm still not positive about that part, but I did lose my vision for about 1.5 minutes to 2 minutes.
Okay. And why weren't you truthful with us when this initially happened?
I don't have a good reason. I was in bad place.
Okay. All right, gentlemen. Well, I know our time's cut short, but
And Ryan, I'll call you from the car once we get out of here in just a couple minutes, and then I'll call you while we're driving back to the airport.
Okay. Yes, sir.
Okay.
All right, gentlemen. So let's see. We'll finish this. We are finishing the recording with Richard Alex Murdaugh, his attorneys Dick Harpoolian and Jim Griffith, and Special Agent Ryan Kelly, Special Agent Joe Alday. It is now 4:58 on Monday, September 13th.
So there it is. To sum all that up, Alex's essential story here is that he was wanting to end his life because he wanted Buster to collect life insurance. And apparently he believed if he committed suicide, the life insurance policy would not be paid out, which is what I would think. And up until this point, I believe that's how all insurance policies work. So it really shocked me in that interview when Jim Harpoolian, his lawyer, stated that his particular policy that Alex Murdaugh had did in fact pay out after you had it a couple of years. even in the event of a suicide. But as he also further said, Alex probably didn't realize that. Honestly, it's the first time I've ever heard of any policy that would allow for suicide at any point in time. And some things we learned in that. Alex admitted to that major opioid problem, $30,000 a week. And no one outside of his immediate family, which would come out later on, knew anything about an opioid problem. But most importantly, in that interview, we heard a name, Curtis Edward Smith, for the first time. So you know what happens next. The police, they go and they pay a visit to Curtis Edward Smith, who Alex alleged was his drug dealer and the guy who shot him. Incidentally, it would come out later that he's actually a distant cousin of Alex Murdaugh. And next week, we're going to pick up with the police heading his way to get his side of this bizarre story. And that is going to be really interesting. Again, I want to thank all of you for listening, sharing, and rating. Please rate the podcast if you have not done so and you're entertained by the content. And until next time, for Exposed, Scandalous Files of the Elite, I am your host, Jim Chapman. Much love.